So I will call the Finance Committee meeting to order at 9:03 on Thursday, February 25th. Um, Is there any public comment regarding the meeting today? Seeing none, and actually at this point, I think seeing no public, we'll move forward. We have two sets of meetings, one from September 24th and the other one from October 15th. I believe Natalie sent those out late yesterday afternoon, or at least at some point yesterday afternoon. Are there any questions or alterations or changes to the minutes? All right, I know Colleen and Jason usually pay close attention to that stuff, so, well, what can we have a motion to acknowledge the minutes from the Finance Committee meetings of September 24th and October 15th?
So moved.
Second.
All right, so moved by Colleen, seconded by Jason. All those in favor of approving the minutes do so by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. All right. The minutes of the Finance Committee meeting from the 24th of September and the 15th of October are approved. I don't believe we had any old business. For new business, as I'm sure everyone is very much aware, Tom, our former finance director, has not been with us now for over a month. And Margaret Gray has done some great background research on a way that we can continue to move forward and perhaps even benefit from the situation by bringing on board a consulting firm that has deep expertise in county finance. So at this point, I'll hand the meeting over to Margaret to explain the details.
Okay, thanks very much, Mark. Good morning, everyone. I thought the timing of the Finance Committee meeting today was excellent, so that, number one, the folks from Susquehanna Accounting and Consulting Solutions could be introduced to you and you could be introduced to them. And it provides us with an opportunity to talk through what exactly the role of Susquehanna Accounting and Consulting Solutions will be. In essence, as they do with Beaver County, another county of the fourth class, we've really asked them to come in and serve as our Director of Financial Management for the foreseeable future. Even if we were to find the perfect candidate for the position in the next week or two, it's several months down the road before an individual will be started and will be hitting up against our budget season. And so it's really important to have someone in that role and someone or some people who know us well and can help us with the not only working with the 2021 budget implementation, but putting together the foundation of a 2022 budget proposal for the Board of Commissioners. So we were really fortunate to be introduced to Susquehanna Accounting and Consulting Solutions. As I said, they work currently with Beaver County, but with many other Commonwealth counties. I think they represent in some way, shape, or form work with about 25% of the counties across the Commonwealth. I will turn it over at this point to Corey Troutman and Ed Zach and allow them to introduce themselves. But maybe just before we do that, we could go around and each person on the call could introduce him or herself just so that they know, can put a name with a face. Maybe Colleen, start with you and what your role is here with Center County.
Good morning. I'm Colleen Kennedy. I'm the county treasurer, and I mostly deal with our banking.
Hi, Corey and Ed. I'm Jason Moser, controller.
Steve Dersham, commissioner.
Mark Higgins, commissioner.
Travis, would you like to introduce yourself?
I don't know if he's on audio, but that's Travis Walker, our internal auditor in the controller's office and accountant.
Okay. Excellent, thank you. And we have Natalie Smith and Jillian Savage from the Commissioner's Office to support our meetings. And I believe Commissioner Pike just joined us, so he's on the call as well. So at this point, I will turn it over to Corey and to Ed.
Great. Thanks, Margaret. Well, first off, just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to work with the county. As Margaret mentioned, we do work with over the past year, we've worked with a little bit over 25% of the counties in Pennsylvania. So we do know a lot about county finance specifically. We've worked on compliance side as well as accounting assistance, audit prep, and also, budgeting preparation as well as monitoring, et cetera. So it's a pleasure to be here today to sort of help fill the void that you have right now in the Director of Finance position. And talking to Margaret, we've sort of structured this so as long as you need us, we'll be there. If you find somebody to fill that role, we can obviously help step in and help train them and, transition anything down the road too. So just a little bit about our firm. We're an independent financial consulting and advisory firm. We specialize in public sector accounting, so we work with a lot of the counties, as we mentioned, as well as municipalities throughout Pennsylvania. We do a lot of different items, different scope of work. I mentioned a few of them, accounting assistance. We do anything from, running a finance department as we do at Beaver County, all the way down to just being a piece of that, however we need to fit in. We do audit preparation, budgeting, as I mentioned. That was part of the scope of service that we'll talk about. We also do strategic planning for governments. So DCD has a program, it's called the Strategic Management Planning Program, that we'll go into clients and sort of assess where they're at, look at the 5-year picture, help with some projections, those kind of things, and also make some recommendations as to how, structure maybe could change, administrative flow, as well as some things that the county long-term planning. Do things such as multi-year capital planning, term planning, et cetera. We also do cost allocation plan preparation, and Ed Zach is the person that heads up that. So I thought I'd bring him along today because he'll be integral to this process. And one of the other ones that I know we talked about, Margaret, was we do prison rate filings for federal prisoners, but certainly it sounded like there was some desire to maybe look at some of the analysis on the prison side as well down the line. So. Our background, we've done things pretty much at the county level for a long time. Our people have 20 plus years experience. Ed's in the 30 plus category, I think, so working with county government. So we've seen a lot. I'm not going to say we've seen everything. There's things that are changing every day. But we've seen a lot, and we're looking forward to putting that knowledge and expertise to work for your county. So with that being said, I'll introduce myself a little bit. My background, I came from Big Four, so I started with Arthur Andersen. I worked with KPMG for a while. I worked with a regional accounting firm, and then I decided, I sort of got sick of the audit, the audit side, the compliance side, and said it's time to put these skills to work. So that's how I came over to the consulting background. Ed, I'll let you give a little bit of your background, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. In my background, I started with my home county in the controller's office and worked there for quite a few years. And then I moved over to the commissioner's side and became the chief financial officer and I worked there. So I spent 20 years in my county, and now I've been working in the consulting realm for 17. I don't know if that's good or bad, but age-wise, probably bad, but experience-wise, pretty good.
Yeah, so we try to blend, using technology with also the expertise that we have. So we're really looking forward to understanding your processes. And as we find, the more we understand about the county and your unique, way of doing business or the flow of information, workflow, the better solutions we can come up with, to help sort of manage that. So the scope of service, if I sort of transition over, that we have outlined, is typical of what we do when we first start. So there will be an assessment period where we're going to try and get as much information from the county, how things work, how things flow. And that typically will take a couple days. We're planning on being on site for a day to touch base with the finance department, sort of get some information. Hopefully we can get linked into the system so we can get some remote access and start analyzing some things. And then the second day is to try and meet with some of those other key critical department heads to sort of analyze, okay, this is a snapshot of where we're at, how things are working here. We were privileged to be a part of the committee that was doing the interviewing for the finance director position. So Margaret had already sent me a bunch of information on what the scope of what the director of financial management job description was, as well as a detailed listing of, the activities that person was performing. So that'll be the basis sort of what we would envision at this point, and then sort of see how all the different pieces interact to make sure all those things get done. But that'll pretty much be the basis once we get through those couple days of an assessment, that we'd come back and, sort of define the scope a little bit more on the specifics of what that would entail to accomplish the outcomes that you're looking for. That would be task one. That'll be completed probably within the next couple weeks. We don't like to spend a ton of time on that. I think we're scheduled to be out there tomorrow, Margaret, if that's correct, for the first day, and I think next Friday for the second day. So hopefully we can get through that assessment period pretty quick, just a quick snapshot, and then start to get moving on getting caught up on some of the budget monitoring that I think probably hasn't been as robust as you'd like for the last couple months. So the second task is to help monitor that 2021 budget. And then the third task would be, if it's still necessary, to help and assist in the preparation of the 2021 budget. And then the final task of that agreement is just, anything that's outlined or comes up in between. If there's additional things that you need us to, obviously, we'll have a discussion on those, and that'll allow us to move forward on those from a contractual standpoint. So I think at this point, I'd open it up, Margaret, if there's any questions on us as a firm, as the scope of services under this contract, or anything else you might.
Great, thanks very much. I'll just throw it open. Any comments, questions, reactions?
I just think it was a really creative solution to reach out for this, Margaret. So thank you for doing the homework, bringing them in.
I feel like I can sleep at night now, so.
Right.
I would agree. I mean, getting their level of talent and skills is going to be an asset to us, and I think we're probably going to learn a few things that we didn't know before, and it certainly will make our accounting and finance capabilities enhanced. So that's all good, and I think a good relationship with the controller's office will be paramount to this conversation.
Yeah, I can't say it better than Colleen and Steve, and look forward to working with Corey and Ed.
As part of your assessment, will you be meeting with the various offices?
Yeah, so I think how we have it structured at this point is the first day we'll be on site tomorrow, Margaret, just to sort of meet with the immediate finance. And I'm not sure, Jason, if you were able to, I don't think you were able to free up your schedule tomorrow, but just to sort of meet and go through, okay, how have things been processing a couple months? Where is the immediate need? We sort of assess, and I want to say we're not, in the medical profession, but sort of triage, what needs the most, what's the highest priority thing to deal with at this moment? What are the things that are getting done and maybe can continue that way for a week or two? And what are the things that need immediately done? So it's really to assess priority of those items. And then the following week when we meet, I think with the department head meeting would sort of be that initial meeting to understand like how those departments envision interacting, sort of go through how to communicate with us, et cetera. And hopefully we'll get that all cleared up tomorrow, as well as with IT and set up and those kind of
things. So the hiring of Susquehanna Accounting for this purpose fit nicely with next Friday's executive management meeting. So my thinking, Colleen, was that I would introduce Corey and Ed at the meeting and go through a more detailed explanation of how the department head should be interacting with them. So, their role is assessment, but it's also doing the work at the same time. So, if a department head was reaching out, this is my vision. unless we find a better way to do it. But if somebody was reaching out to Tom because they had a concern about a budget, or they felt that there was, a need to move funding within their line items or something, they would reach out to him, of course, and he would work with them, sometimes bring me in, sometimes not necessary. But I want the department heads, I think it's going to be important for them to know that they can call, email Corey and Ed, and they can help them work through some of the problems, because otherwise, we're going to just be it's going to be bouncing all over the place, and that's not going to have a good end result. So, Corey, that's what you were thinking, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
So it's be meeting
Yep.
them in a group to kind of say, here's your Tom Martin, okay? And anything that you would have been talking to Tom about, you should be talking to them about, and really kind of pushing that pathway, because I think without that sort of direction to them, they won't know.
Yeah, and
I hear you.
I would
Thank you.
go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, I would just echo what Margaret said. So our goal is ultimately to be able to, to facilitate direct contact between the two. I know there's some, not everybody's on site. We're going to plan to be on site on a regular schedule, and then also be available. We're going to work out the logistics probably tomorrow on how that looks and what that looks like for our access to the system, and how to facilitate the flow of information. We'll make sure we get you our cell phone numbers, all that kind of call. And we'll go from there. So hopefully by tomorrow we'll have all that stuff sort of figured out, so that the next Friday we can communicate that to everybody, how to and contact us if you have a need and we're not on site that day.
So this
Corey,
group,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Margaret.
I was just going
Go
to say,
ahead,
this group is really the key, core, important group in terms of communication. And so if you think that there are other ways that you would like to add on to this, that's fine as well. We're just really kind of feeling our way through the process at this point.
Yeah, and we can be flexible in that approach too. I just find that I oversee the Beaver County account, and that just works best because they can communicate with me at any time. They have my cell phone. They know, look, sometimes I'll be in a meeting. I might not be able to answer. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. We have remote access. We can tap right into the system, so it's pretty much seamless in that regard.
Hey, Corey, and I'm working with our IT right now to get that access set up as well. So that should hopefully be done tomorrow. I was just talking with Michael this morning.
Great. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Steve, was there something you'd wanted to say?
I'm good.
Mike or Travis? I also think it's a great idea. A lot of benefit to the county. We wanted to loop in our row officers, Colleen and Jason, also Travis, meet everybody and just get this thing kicked off. Anything else we need to cover, Margaret?
Well, I would just say that we haven't let any grass grow under our feet, because we're already talking to Corey about P-CHIP and the wonderful news that we're getting back much more money than we anticipated for our 2020 year. And so I think Jason and Corey are going to be talking about that at some point here soon, because you've seen this, Corey, in other counties, I believe.
Yeah.
And understand the audit implications, which are considerable.
Yeah, the critical component there is any reimbursement that we get, we got to make sure it goes back to the places that funded it, on the initial expenditure side. So there are some facts that we need to gather just to make sure we give you the right, the best recommendation on how to handle that. But yeah, we'll try and gather some of those maybe tomorrow or next week just to keep that moving.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is there anything else to discuss at this point about Susquehanna County and Consulting Solutions' new role at the county.
Say welcome aboard.
That's
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
official now. You're official
Yeah,
now.
we're looking forward to it. It's always exciting to start a new process, and just to get to meet everybody and try to put all the pieces together, and help the county move forward. So we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Very good. Yes, welcome aboard. Any open discussion for concerns under the Finance Committee? All right.
No concerns. Just going to echo the welcome aboard and thank you, and looking forward to working with you. Thank you.
I'd say I'm mostly seeing some positive head shaking. I don't think we have any announcements, so at this point, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
There we go. We have a second.
Or second.
I'll second.
All right. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone. See most
Thank
of
you.
you again at 10. Bye.
Thank you.